Starting today, and new batch is known as winners batch. This is the team for the new batch. We are having orientation class today for the new joinees who are joining today, this second batch, which is winners batch. Right. So this is the team. This team will be taking your JIB live classes. Aman ma'am and I will be taking your principles and practices of banking. Vishal sir will take your RBWM. Kinshuk sir, Arti and Aman ma'am will take your Indian economy and Indian financial system. And Arti ma'am will take your AFM, accounting and financial management for bankers. So this batch is starting from today itself. So let's know little bit about your own exam, which is being conducted by IIBF. Your exam will be most probably in May 2025. And as I told you that I will be taking your principles and practices of banking. So there are 4 modules in principles and practices of banking. Module A, which is of general banking operations. Module B is functions of bank. Module C is banking technology. And module D will be your ethics. If you will see the syllabus, most of the syllabus, the weightage of first 2 modules is around 65 to 70%. You can say 60 to 70% is covered under module A and B. These 2 modules are not very difficult. Only thing is they are very voluminous because you have to study a lot of things. There are a lot of things which are factual, a lot of things which are conceptual. So you have to understand both the things. You have to understand the concepts as well as you'll have to remember the factual whatever is facts given, because that can also be asked in the exams. And nowadays the exam which is being conducted, you are given multiple options. You have to read a lot and find the most appropriate answer. In that, the difficulty is that you'll have to cover the syllabus very thoroughly. It is not that in last month you will just go through the syllabus and you'll be done. It is going to be very difficult if you will wait for the uh, last month. Next is banking technology. Banking technology, a lot of questions are now being asked from banking technology also, because if you will see in last 15-20 years, a lot has changed in technology wise. From ATM was introduced, then UPI, mobile banking, internet banking. We are doing most of the transactions through these technology based, and CBS was also came into around 2000 to 2005. In between, it was introduced in most of the banks. So a lot has changed in technology, and technology has become the backbone for the banking industry, because it has reduced the cost for the bank. It provides seamless banking. Now the customer can do their transactions anywhere, anytime. So these facilities are provided through banking technology. As a banker, you must understand the technology part also. And last module covers the ethics. This is the easiest module. Even if you go through it once, you will be able to answer the most of the questions, although sometimes they may ask you questions which are very confusing. For that, if you just revise it once, read it once, revise it once, and you'll be able to do the ethics part also. So what else is in your this syllabus? First is understanding the exam pattern. So you will be having around 100 questions. Questions will be of 0.5 marks. 1 marks and 2 marks. Generally, case studies are not asked in principles and practices of banking. In some of the subjects, you will be asked about the case study, but generally, they don't give case study in principles and practices of banking. There could be some small scenario which they can give you, and they can ask questions from that. So, if you have good understanding of the concepts about the operations of the bank, because module A and module B, first module will be covering the general banking part, module B will be covering loans, module C is regarding technology. In technology, a lot of questions are asked, like what are this white label ATM, brown label ATM. So these kind of questions come in your exams. Then ethics, as I told you, the weightage is almost 15 around. So if A and B cover 60 to 70%, technology will cover around 20%, and ethics will cover around 10 to 15%. So this is going to be the weightage for module wise. And as I told you, around 100 questions you can expect. 0.5 marks, 1 marks, 2 marks. 2 marks question could be little tricky, or there could be, you will have to read a lot. There may be multiple statements given regarding something. Some maybe just suppose that a question is being asked about RTI, and they have given you multiple options. You have to choose the most appropriate one. Or if they are asking about NRI accounts, NRE accounts, they can give you multiple questions, and in that particular question, you have to pick the right answer or the most appropriate answer. Then you have to, total marks is 100. You have to secure at least 50 marks to clear the paper. If you want to clear your JIB exam in single attempt, if you want to clear your exam in single attempt, even if you are getting 45, more than 45 in all subjects and in total, because there are 4 subjects, 100 marks each. So total marks is of 400. Out of 400, if you get more than 200 in aggregate, you will clear your JIB exams in single attempt. So as per my personal opinion, I feel that principles and practices of banking and RBWM, these are scoring subjects. You can easily score more than 70. If you study thoroughly these subjects, you can easily score more than 70 in PPB and RBWM. If you don't have any background of economics or accounting, you will find Indian economy and Indian financial system and AFM to be little difficult. And so if you're planning, if you have your vision that you want to clear JIB in single attempt, then your strategy could be like this, that try to get maximum marks in principles and practices of banking and RBWM. It will help you to get more than 200. And even if you can clear your Indian economy and Indian financial system and AFM by getting more than 45, you can clear the JIB exams in single attempt. So in module A, these are the list of units that you have to study. So first, I usually break this down into multiple buckets. You can call this that module A has different buckets. The chapters are aligned in that way. So first is related to KYC, banker customer relationship, operational aspects of KYC, various types of accounts, operational aspects of deposit account. So you can consider these 5 units in one bucket. Then will come your clearing and handling of cash, bankers' special relationship. you can consider either in the same bracket or you can have 6 and 7 in one bracket. Third is foreign exchange. So we have 3 units: foreign exchange remittance facility for individuals, operational aspects of NRI business, foreign currency account for residents, and other aspects in the third bucket. So in this particular bucket, you will be understanding why do we need foreign exchange, what are the regulations for foreign exchange, the laws which govern foreign exchange. Then we have NRI accounts, accounts which can be opened by NRIs, PIO or OCI, which is person of Indian origin, overseas citizen of India, and NRIs, what kind of accounts they can open, what kind of transactions they can do in India, how many balance they can keep, how much they can repatriate. Repatriate means how much they can take back to their country. Hello everyone. If you want to say something, you want to ask something, just type in the chat box. I'll be answering your questions. We are discussing the since this is orientation class, I'll be telling you what you can expect from the classes, what you have to study. Hello everyone. If you have any queries, you can drop your question in the chat box. So next bucket is cash management services and regarding checks, payment and collection of check under the Negotiable Instrument Act, responsibility of paying bank, responsibility of collecting bank, and then we have one this ancillary services also. And in the last bracket, you can consider this financial inclusion and financial literacy. Although this is separate topic, last 5 units are related to customer services, because we are in the industry of services. We provide services to the customer. So knowing customer service guidelines, duties and rights of banker and customer rights. What are our duties and what are our rights over what kind of transactions we are doing with the customer. Then we have grievance redressal and RBI integrated ombudsman scheme. When we are catering to the customer, when we are providing services to the customer, they may be having some grievances with the bank and they can come to the bank. What are the regulations? What are RBI regulations on customer grievance redressal? We'll be studying that, and we'll be studying integrated ombudsman scheme, what integrated ombudsman scheme is all about. Then we have Consumer Protection Act. Consumer Protection Act was started to prevent any kind of or to safeguard the consumers from the firms, companies which should not mislead the customers. And for that, Consumer Protection Act, since we are also providing services to the customers, that is why that is applicable to the banks also, and that is why we need to study about Consumer Protection Act. And the last one is the Right to Information Act 2005. So right to information is again very important act for bankers, because it is applicable to public authorities, and as per the definition which is given under the act, banks also qualify as public authorities, especially public sector banks. So we are also answerable under RTI, Right to Information Act. Then comes functions of bank. So in functions of bank, we are going to study about loans. A lot of thing, what are the guidelines regarding to loans, will be covering almost every part of it. So let's see what are the units. First unit is principles of lending, different type of borrowers, type of credit facilities. So can you name different kind of borrowers? Can you all name different kind of borrowers? Can you all name few of the type of borrowers? Because we are dealing with different kind of borrowers on a daily basis. So I hope as bankers you all can answer this question, that what are different kind of borrowers we are catering to. Anyone from, what are different kind of borrowers? Correct. We have individual and non-individual borrowers. Can you name some of the individual borrowers? Can you tell me the segment of individual borrowers? Some of the segments. We have individual, non-individual borrowers. This is absolutely correct. Can you name some of the individual borrowers? Individual borrowers, when we are going to study about, we provide retail loans to individual borrowers, but individual borrowers, when we are going to classify individual borrowers, we will have different segment of borrowers. Like we have minors, we will have illiterate person, we have blind person, we will have maybe pardanashi woman, we may have insolvent people. Why we have to study this? Because minors cannot do any kind of contract. If they can, there are some conditions for it, in which situation can we cannot give loans to minors, but there is a condition where we can give loans to minors. We cannot give loans to insolvent. So that is why we have to study about this. So these are some of the individual borrowers. Now, can you tell me few of the segments in segments of non-individual borrowers? Segments of non-individual borrowers. We have different kind of firms. When we are talking about non-individual borrowers, we are actually talking about firms. But even in firms, we have different kind of firms. Can you name them? Can you name few of the non-individual borrowers or customers which we face on a daily basis? Name them. We have proprietorships, we have partnerships, we have companies, we have trust. Very good. At least you have little bit of idea about what non-individual borrowers are. So it could be proprietorship firms, it could be partnership firm, it could be company, it could be limited liability partnership, It could be small company, it could be government company, trust. We have societies, clubs, association of person. We have this. So at least you have little bit idea about this. Then type of credit facilities. What kind of credit facilities do we give to customers? Any idea about that? What kind of credit facilities do we provide to the customer? What kind of credit facilities do we provide to the customers? We provide personal loan. And what are the other loans which we are providing to the customers? We have personal loan, car loan, housing loan, CC, OD, term loan. Vehicle loan. What else? Mortgage loan. Mortgage loan, although in India we don't call it, we don't use mortgage loan. In some of the banks, I have seen that they have product with mortgage loan name also. Mortgage is a charge. Mortgage basically means the charge which we have on land and properties. That charge is known as mortgage. So when we are providing loans on properties, if properties are involved, then we have charge on that property, and there are different kind of charges. We will also be covering that in module B, because we have PAPL, we have pension loan. So type of credit facilities, it can be broadly divided into first is fund based. First is called fund based. I should write it this way. So type of credit facilities can be broadly divided into fund based and non fund based. So what fund based and non fund based means is, in fund based accounts, in fund based loans, we actually provide fund to the customer. We give the fund to the customer for buying a car, for a personal loan, for buying a house. We are giving funds to the customer. It could also be, so fund based are of two types. These are broad classification which I am telling you. Fund based could be term loan, and it could be for working capital. Working capital, you can say that this comes under CCOD. CCOD limit which we provide, this will come under fund based. Non fund based, we provide LC and BG. Bank guarantee, letter of credit, these come under non fund based credit facilities. Why they are called non fund based credit facilities? Because the bank will not actually provide them fund. These are kind of guarantees that if our customer who has asked us to issue LC or BG, if he or she, or if they fail to uh, if they fail to, I mean, if they have some responsibility where, like, I'm giving you one example. Like, suppose there is a bank XYZ limit. XYZ is a bank, and our customer is Mr. A. Mr. A bought something from B. Now A has to make payment to B, but this payment has to be made after maybe say 3 months. After 3 months, A has to pay to B after 3 months, and B is not sure whether he will receive the payment or not. So he wants that bank should give a guarantee to B that if A fails to give the money, then bank on behalf of A will give the money. So that is a guarantee that the bank is giving. Bank is actually not paying the amount then and there. It is not paying. If A fails to if A fails to give money to B, then in that case B can ask bank, because bank has issued guarantee, then bank will make payment to Mr. B. So these are non-fund based facilities. These are credit facilities because we have taken the responsibility as a banker, as a bank has taken the responsibility that whenever our customer is not able to meet the demand of other party, the supplier, then bank is taking this guarantee, then that bank will make the payment. Why bank would do that? bank with Bank will either take full collateral for issuing that guarantee, or maybe because A is a old customer, we already have credit facilities, we have already given credit facilities to A, we already have some mortgages on the land and property of A. On Based on that, or based on the credit facilities which we have already given to A, we are ready to take this risk. Bank will safeguard itself. It is not that it will give it to anyone, it will give only to, these guarantees are given based on, because you will have to do the credit assessment in that also, that whether you should give this non-fund based facility also to the customer or not. So these are some of the credit facilities. Now, when we are talking about fund based, in this term loan, you will have all kind of retail segment loans which are provided as term loan will be covered under this. We also provide some of the loans, like in your bank you would have seen that even as personal loan we can provide CCOD. Like in some of the salary packages account, you are allowed to give to the customer some overdraft, or maybe 1 month, 2 month, that is allowed. That is part of the feature of that particular salary package account. So we provide CCOD in P segment also. In SME also we provide CCOD for working capital. So what is a working capital? Working capital simply means the company needs some money to for their operations. Like suppose if you take your example, you want to buy a home. So home is an investment for a very long time. Mostly most of us who are salaried, they will take home loan as a term loan. But we need salary. We need salary every month because we have to run the household, right? That is same way firms also need some money on regular basis which they can use for their monthly expenses, and that is given by the bank as working capital loan. So we will see the assessment which is being done, how it is done, what are the methods for assessing working capital. So in the first unit we will be studying about this different kind of credit facilities, different kind of borrowers. Then will come appraisal and assessment of credit facility. We also must understand that bank is in a business of taking deposit and giving loan to the customers. So if we are taking loan, suppose deposit of 100 rupees from A for say 3 years, and we are promising A that we will provide them 7% rate of interest. So this is the deposit. Mr. A is depositor. So this we are taking from A. Out of this 100 rupees, we will keep some 30 rupees, 25 to 30 rupees capital for the CRR and SLR. And after that, bank will lend around 70 rupees to another person and he will be our borrower. So we are providing loan to B at say 10% rate of interest, and this could be repaid in maybe 10 years. So bank, this is the basic business of bank, how we are doing business in the bank. So this is the basic structure to understand that how bank is working. Now why this assessment work is important, because if B fails to repay us this 70 rupees, anyways the bank will have to pay this 100 rupees plus 7% after 3 years. And every bank has a asset liability management team. As you all must be knowing that loans are known as assets to the bank, so deposit is considered as liability to the bank and loans are considered asset to the bank. Can anyone tell me why deposit is liability and loans are called asset? These are some basic terms that you need to understand before we jump into the units and we start studying. These are some of the basic concept. First basic concept is this, that how the banking industry works. And if B, because we are taking a risk here, we are giving loan to B from the deposit which we have taken from A. If B fails to provide us the is not able to repay back to the bank, so this is the credit risk the bank is taking. Now tell me why deposit is called liability and loan is called asset. Anyone else? Any other answer? Any other answer? Anyone else would like to answer? So deposit is, we cannot use the word burden. The reason being because that deposit is providing us capital to do the business. So deposit is our responsibility. We have the liability, we have the responsibility that from all those customers from where we are taking the capital for running the bank, we have to repay them bank whenever, repay the customer whenever they ask for, and with the rate of interest. Because if the person is keeping their money for 3 years with you, he is providing the capital to you. So yes, this is responsibility to pay back, and that is why it is called liability. Asset, loans are called asset because we are earning. This 10% is the earning, not 10%. 10% minus 7%. This will be the earning of the bank. So 3% is going to be the earning for bank, and because we are earning from that loan, this is known as asset. And why appraisal and assessment of credit facility is important? Because before giving loan to B, we have to assess whether B will be able to repay us back or not. Because if most of our borrowers fail to repay, then we won't be able to repay or give back to the depositors. That is why appraisal and assessment of credit facility is important. So these are some of the basic things that you must understand, that why these are important. Now comes operational aspects of loan accounts. What are the operational aspects of loan account? Then we have different kind of collaterals. What are collaterals? What are collaterals? Anyone idea? Anyone having idea what are collaterals? What do you understand by collateral? Have you heard of this word? Have you all? So it is security, loan security. Correct. So what kind of security do we take from the customer? Broadly, we can divide it into two. One is called primary security, one is called secondary security. Usually, we use the word collateral for the secondary security. Second, primary securities are securities which are taken for which the bank has given loan, like in the home loan. In case of home loan, because we have given loan for buying the house, it will be considered as primary security. Collateral security is the extra that we take, extra security which we take from the customer to safeguard our loan. That is called secondary security, and mostly we use the word collateral for that. So in type of collateral and their characteristic, we will be studying about different kind of security we take. Like different kind of security could be like we take FD security, we take LIC as security, we take mutual fund as security, we take shares as security, we take property as security, we take this car as security. Any kind of vehicle is considered a security. We are providing loan for that particular vehicle, that is taken as security. Then we have any security which you would like to tell me. What are other kind of security? So I named few. Gold we take as security, correct? We take gold as security, and anything else? We take bonds as security, correct? What else we take? We take book debts also. We take this. I'm forgetting the name right now. Uh, Stocks. Stock of the firms, we take it as security, and that is also a kind of security. So we will be going through different kind of collateral and what their characteristic is. Different modes of charging securities. Now what does this mean, different mode of charging security? So different kind of securities which we are taking, like FD. On FD we will be having lien. We are taking gold, we will have pledge on gold. We will take vehicle, we will hypothecate the vehicle. We will take property, we will mortgage the property. So there are different names, and names are different because the characteristic is different. Characteristic of FD is different from gold, gold is different from vehicle, vehicle is different from land. That is why different name, different characteristics, and different modes of charging securities. Then comes the documentation part. Why documentation is important? Why documentation is important? So what happens is, if someone comes to your branch and ask for any kind of loan, first process you will going to do is the application process. In the application process, you will see what kind of credit facility is required, what kind of borrower he or she is. Second process is appraisal process. You will see whether you can give the loan to the customer or not, whether the purpose of the loan is as per bank policy or not. If suppose they are asking loan for something which is not allowed by the bank, you cannot give loan to that customer, right? So that is why appraisal and assessment of credit facilities is important. So this is second part. Third is, after assessing the loan, you sanction the loan. So after application, You do the appraisal. After appraisal and assessment, you will sanction the loan. Once you have sanctioned the loan, the next part is documentation. Now, understanding this, why documentation is important. Documentation is very important step in any loan, and although this in all the trainings which you do in the banking, you must emphasize this on documentation part, because as officers you get transfer from one place to another after every 2 3 years or 5 years. It depends on the policy of the bank, but whatever why you chose to give loan, it will be mentioned in the appraisal and assessment, why you have given loan to the customer. But documentation part will have all the details, why the loan was given, what were the terms and conditions on which it was given, if we have taken any collateral, as we have seen the collateral part, if we have taken any collateral, what kind of charge we had. Like in case of hypothecation, you need to take hypothecation agreement. In case of mortgage, you need to take mortgage deed. So there are different names, you have to take that particular document with the stamp paper. Stamp paper depends on state to state, it is not same in all the state. It is state wise, so state wherever you are posted, you have to take the stamp paper. Documentation helps when any of the loan goes bad and you have to go to the court, then this documentation will help the bank to recover the amount. If you have not very prudently not work on your documentation part, then bank won't have the case, and the case will be discarded by the court. That is why it is very important, the documentation should be very proper. It should be whatever has been, whatever guidelines are there of the bank, you should follow that guideline for the documentation part. I'll be starting the normal classes from tomorrow, so I'll provide you tomorrow. This will be provided to you tomorrow. Then comes NPA. Now, if you are giving loan to customer, then there is a huge possibility that account will become NPA. NPA is what? What is full form of NPA? What is full form of NPA? I'm emphasizing on functions of bank because I'll be starting with module B. That is why I'm emphasizing on this part, because we'll start with this module, module B. And I'm just trying to clear the few general concept that you should understand about the credit. I will be starting with unit 22. That is module B, loans. I'll start with loans. So that is why I'm emphasizing on the loan, that understand the basic, and from tomorrow we'll be starting with the units. So why it is called non-performing assets? NPA are called non-performing asset. Asset is what? Our loans are assets. If it is not performing, if it is not giving income to the bank, then it becomes NPA. So simple logic is that the asset which we thought it will generate income for the bank, it is not generating income from the bank for the bank, because the customer is not making the payment. So those account will become NPA. Why NPA is important? Understanding NPA is important because this comes under asset classification. What asset classification means? As I told you, loans are our assets. We classify different assets like different loans based on whether we are getting the repayment on time or not. This asset classification helps the bank to do the provisioning work. We have to keep some extra capital because we have to repay to our depositors. So that is why bank will keep aside some deposit. That capital is kept aside, and that is known as provisioning. For provisioning purpose, we must understand what are NPA, how you should classify it. And sometimes what happens is, because since I worked in bank, I have seen that there are many mistakes which we do when we are working in branches, that we don't put the right flags on the customer, on the accounts. Like if some of the account is covered with CGTMSC, you have not flagged that account as CGTMSC. You have not, I think so. I'm not sure about that. Saiji, I'm not sure about that, but I think so. It is only one. And I can't say about that. You can start from tomorrow itself. So next comes important laws relating to recovery of dues. Now account has become NPA. After that, you will need the details of the laws under which you can go to the court. You can go to the court, and what are the laws for on which you can file any case against the customer. So we'll be studying the different laws, like surfacy law is there, DRT is there, Lok Adalat is there. Then we have contracts of indemnity, contracts of guarantee, and bank guarantee. As I told you, that bank also provides non-fund facilities, under which comes guarantee, bank guarantee, letter of credit, deferred payment guarantee, laws relating to bill finance. So these will come under non-fund based. Then we have personal finance, where we will be studying about retail loans. Then we have priority sector advances. As you must be knowing that there are some sectors which are on the priority list of the government, and we get target as public sector banks. All the scheduled commercial banks, they get some priority sector lending targets, and for that we have to do the loans accordingly. Then we have agriculture finance. We provide loans for agriculture also. So that will study in unit 37. Then we have finance to MFI, co-lending arrangement with NBFCs. Since we have to do priority sector lending and the bank cannot have branches at every place, so we tie up with microfinance institutions and non-banking financial companies to do the on lending, and for that we will have co-lending arrangements with them. Then we have micro and small medium enterprises in India, government sponsored schemes, and self-help groups. So we have to study a lot about government sponsored scheme, although these are very smaller units. Government sponsored scheme is important because we also get target for government sponsored scheme. And the last one is SHG, that what are the products which are covered under SHG. Module C and D will be covered by Aman ma'am. Banking technology, since I told you that a lot has changed since last, timing will be this same, 6 to 7. Timing will be same. We'll be starting with the units from tomorrow itself. So in banking technology, you will have all kind of the recent changes which has been introduced in the banking regarding the technology side. This will be covered by Aman ma'am. And module B, which is on ethics and banks and financial institutions, so this is also going to be covered by Aman ma'am. Now what you should do first is try to clear your concepts. Whatever concepts are there, you must understand those concepts. Try to revise them, because what will happen is that your classes will start. You will tend to, as you will finish 10-15 units, you will forget what you were doing in unit 1. So, and if you keep on forgetting, then it will be difficult for you to retain everything for your exams. So you will have to revise it multiple times so that you don't forget. And the last thing is that you practice. So after every class, try to solve your unit wise test. Unit wise test, once you will give, you will at least retain whatever has been done in the class. Then this is the mindset I would say, that keep this mindset in your mind. Stay positive. That will help you a lot, because you have to cover around 165 units in all the subjects, and in the PPP itself there are around 55 units. So stay positive, start early, understand concepts, study consistently. Try to study almost on a daily basis. If you're not studying a new unit, at least try to revise what you have already studied. I will try to, Saiji, I will try to provide you early. Sometimes it is not possible for me, because I also make some changes during daytime. So sometimes it is not possible for me to provide before the class. And second thing is that whatever I'm writing during the class to make you understand, that will be also provided in the PDF. So I'll be able to provide you only one PDF, and when I provide you after the class, it will have whatever I'm writing on the screen, so that once you go through it, you are able to recall what I was telling during the class. Try to relate to your work, because in principles and practices of banking, whatever we are doing, mostly we are actually doing that in the bank, especially the operational general banking part. If you're working in the branch, then you must be knowing few things, and your concept will become more clear when you start studying this principles and practices of banking, and focus on increasing knowledge, because that will help you in the long run. JIB will help you to get the increment, but if you are studying for knowledge, then it will help you to. uh, so if you are studying for only increment, then maybe this will be very short term vision. If you are studying for increasing your knowledge, then for a long time you will be able to retain this, because you will be referring this multiple times during your services in bank, because these are very important concepts. Okay, that I can do, that you can make. What I would suggest is, whenever we will be ending the class, I'll provide you PDF. Go through the PDF, I mean, on the same day or next day at least. Once you will go through it, whatever we have done in the class, you will at least have an idea of it. And every weekend, try to revise whatever we have done in that particular week. And once a unit is complete, try to answer the questions, unit wise test which is being provided on your platform. Try to attempt that, because it is not just the concepts which are important. You also have to understand what kind of questions are asked, and how you are going to deal with them, because you will have to first read it, understand what are asked. If there are multiple questions, multiple answers are there, then you will have to understand everything point wise. So I would suggest that after every class, go through the PDF, try to solve the unit wise test, and on weekly basis revise whatever we have covered during the week. And this would be sufficient. If you will keep on revising multiple times, then you will be able to retain whatever we have done in the class until your exam. After, once the syllabus is complete, the concept part is complete, try to appear for some of the mock tests also, which are given in your portal. So any question, anyone? Any other question? So all those who have not joined the batch, we are starting new batch from today itself. Today was orientation class. You can go to Adda 24/7 site and you can enroll for our winners batch. Batches are available in both the languages, English as well as Hindi. In Hindi, it is called Vijeta, and in English, it is winners batch. So all those who want to join the batch, please join the batch as early as possible, because we'll be starting with the units. And this is the right time that you can start your preparation, because you'll get some time for your revision and practice also. So if you have no questions, I am signing off for today. We'll meet tomorrow then in the classes. We'll be starting with the units, functions of bank. So thank you all and good night, everyone. Bye, everyone.